G'day guys, just a quick one today. We're just going to go over all of Geoflip's transformations that we currently support. So let's just get into it. All right, so just looking at the docs, first of all, if we go to the transformations tab, you can see an overview of how to run it in terms of the API. But if we go to the specific transformations that we support currently, we've got the buffer. All that does is gets all your features and then buffers them a certain amount, given a distance and a set of units. We've also got the clip. This is where you've got some data already, but you're only interested in your specific area of interest. So you want to clip all the records out from that data and chuck it out into its own data set. We've got the erase, and what this does is it takes a data set and then takes a second data set and erases this from this data set. So you end up with this. It's usually useful when you want to remove maybe environmentally sensitive or heritage restricted areas from a data set, from your area of interest or something. You've got a union. This is when you've got overlapping features inside a data set and you want to union them into a single polygon like that. Okay. That's the overview. Let's get into it and see how we do these in the Geoflip. Okay, in the platform now, we'll just log in. If you haven't been here before, have a look at account.geoflip.io or just go to geoflip.io and it'll take you into accounts from there. Okay, so first thing we need, we're going to have a look at the buffer process. So first thing we need is some data, I guess, to digitize off of. So let's say we've got this housing estate here. You can upload, but I'm just going to use the drawing tool here to draw this road and use the line data to sort of just draw the center line of the road, or you might have roads data already. And what we're going to do is buffer that into a polygon so it sort of better represents the the coverage of the road or the amount of disturbance a road might make. So straight away, click on the transformations tab here and then choose your tool of choice. We're going to go through all of these, but the buffer tool. And in the buffer tool, you've got a couple of options. We're just going to choose a distance of 20, and meters is the correct one for us here. Obviously, you can choose the different units when you run yours for your use case. So we'll hit apply buffer, and the Geoflip API will go and turn that line into now a polygon that we can use for later. That's how you use the buffer. So I'm actually going to go and export this out. We'll go Geo package and we'll grab that one and have that ready for the next one. Okay, so I'm just going to call this guy road. So we've got it ready for the next one. Okay, so I'm going to show you, we're going to need that for the arrays. So the next thing, transformation wise, what we're going to do is have a look at the erase function here. So if we had our area of interest, something like this, digitize that, fast forwarded it in the video. And what we want to do is we want to erase that road out of it. This is pretty common, I would say. So there's a public road through your area of interest of where you're going to operate, and you would like to erase all the public roads from it so that you're not calculating that area. We can use the erase tool. So go to select erase, select the import format of the data that you're going to erase with. We're going to use that road data that we created in the buffer. And so we hit browse, select the data that we wanted to use, hit open, upload him, and then you get a preview of what's sort of going to happen here. So we've got the data that we're going to erase from our area of interest in red, and then we've got our area of interest in blue that we just drew or uploaded. We just hit apply erase, and there you go. Easy as that. You've gotten your area of interest sort of clipped down to what you need it to be. All right, so we can export that too, I suppose. Download that. We can probably call that. No, we'll just leave it there. Okay, so the next one is potentially a clip. Okay, so let's say we've got this area, but we're now on the sort of project stages of it, and we now sort of only care about this segment. So what we can do is draw that area. So we'll just wipe this out. So we're going to care, this is the new area of interest, which is a subset of the original one. So you probably upload this from your engineers or whoever you're working with. And now we're going to have a look at the clip. So we care about this. From here, we're going to clip, and then our clipping boundary is going to be our old data. Upload there, and then we'll apply a clip. And now we've got just the intersecting records returned back. So we've actually done quite a few steps here. The last one, I don't really have a example. You'll know when you need to do this. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to buffer this just so we've got some overlap here. We're going to need some overlap. So we'll go run this, and it's already buffered and unioned it for us. Let me just do another one here. Make it clear. Yeah, so you got two overlapping geometries here, and you want to turn that into one geometry without the overlap. So we'll go union and then click apply. And there you go. Sorry, my son's just walked in the room. Okay, so as always, you saw how all of the transformations work in the platform, which is good because it's a good visual representation of what's going to happen. But performing all of those in the API, you can understand from the docs.geoflip.io how to do it. It's very simple, actually. So if you have a look at this extra little parameter you can add into your payload when you make a request, it's just transformations and then the parameters or the type of transformation you want to run. So in this case, it's the buffer. So you just say, okay, buffer, and then how much you want to buffer by and the units you want to buffer it by. So really simple. And you'll notice that this is a list. So actually you can chain a bunch of transformations to happen. If you want to know a little bit more about that, have a look at the transformation pipelines. But if we scroll down here, we can see what the payload, the complete payload structure would be. So you've got your input data. In this case, we're using GeoJSON. So we've got input GeoJSON. You've got your output format. So this is what it's going to come out as. In this case, we just got GeoJSON, and then your list of transformations. And in this case, we're just doing the one transformation. So if we have a look at transformation pipelines, very similar over here. So we've got some data inside the input JSON, and we scroll down to the bottom. We've got our output format. This time is a shapefile, the output CRS or EPSG, so your coordinate system. And then this time we actually got a couple of transformations. So this one is going to do a buffer on the input data, and then using the result of that, it's going to perform a clip. So this is what the clip looks like. And then using the result of that is then going to do an erase as well. So depending on what order you want that to happen in, you can decide. You're a clever developer, so you can figure that one out. And then look, it's also doing a buffer at the end again, and then doing a union. So you can put as much as you like in here, and that's how the pipelines work. And that's actually what we're going to talk about next week in the pipeline tab of the workspace. So it's sort of a graphic way of building that entire pipeline of transformation, input and output. All right, so that's all I got for you today, guys. That's transformations in Geoflip, and in fact, transformations work very similar in all GIS platforms. So as you kind of needed an explanation of how the various things work, hopefully that helped you out a little bit. Apart from that, I also wanted to tell you we are always adding more transformations. In fact, in the development build of Geoflip now, we've got a bunch more transformations already added, as well as a bunch more readers and writers. The aim is to make it so you've got every format under the sun that you'd want to work with and every transformation that you want. It's really quick for us to add. So if you did have a use case where you wanted to put in your own transformation, or you wanted to have more transformations supported that you know about and you think would be a good idea, let us know in the comments, and we'll do our best to prioritize and add that feature into the API. So yeah, thanks guys. That's it for today. I will see you next week for the pipelines video.